Okay, well, we've had some technical difficulties, but we finally made it on Zoom. We're doing a recording. I'm still so excited to have Jake on for a few minutes to really share what's happening here in Australia, New Zealand. First of all, a big thank you. It's like literally 10 p.m. I know, past that now for Jake. He's just coached his son's game. And this is our president, right? Our president, co-owner of the company, who I'm just so humbled and grateful for our friendship and for him to be able to be on a live like this or recording like this now. I think it really shows his character, the person that he is. He has brought in so much to my life over the last couple of years nearly. Myself been in the industry for 10 years, and hand on heart, I have spent a lot of money on personal development, mentorship, but really what I've learned with Jake over the last little while has been unbelievable. It's really made me think, where did I spend all my money? Because I'm able to get this type of mentorship in this company, which is incredible. I'm so honored to be part of the Equity Council, to have that personal access to Jake, which is super, super awesome. So really today, I really wanted to share with everyone watching what is about to happen here in Australia and New Zealand. And I suppose, Jake, what I would love to hear from you, first of all, why a few years ago you have had amazing success in this industry. You've been part of this industry on the field, grown a successful business in network marketing, but you decided to take a different route with Q a few years ago, and now being the president and co-owner. Tell us a little bit, why Q? What sets Q apart?
Well, that's a great question. First off, congratulations on your success. It's crazy to think it's been, I guess it is approaching a couple of years. We are very appreciative. Obviously, I can speak for Mr. Mark Wilson, my partner, and our spouses. You guys have been extremely loyal and have stood the test of time. And that's why we've had you guys serving on our council. The different insight you guys have been able to add, but also just boots on the ground. And we're very, very excited and really anticipating what's going to start taking place on September 1. Like you, I was in the field for many years. And like you, I think you've had some experiences with previous situations with corporate and just different things that have happened in this industry. And the industry has changed immensely, probably the most it's ever changed. In the last 3 to 5 years, it's probably changed more than the previous 40 combined. From the technology standpoint, then you start coupling or adding on COVID and what's happened with that, and the acceptance of having a home-based business or a side hustle, or people do it no matter what country that you're in, has put a lot or a huge spotlight, on what we do and how we do it. And I had always had a couple of goals in mind if I was ever going to go back and rebuild this and build it again. The industry had been very fortunate to my family. I was very lucky. I got involved with some great people when I was in the field. We were very fortunate. We had kind of the typical story for people who had reached higher positions. So we'd been able to experience really cool things with our family, our children, lifestyle things and travel and cool things. And so we knew the industry worked, but there was some incestuous, I guess that's the correct word to use, things that were happening in the industry that probably needed to be rectified. From a business standpoint and teaching people the business philosophies. And that really started with having probably a more open dialogue with our field than most companies would dare to have. And it's really taught me a lot, probably more, I probably learned more than what you guys have learned from myself and Mark. But it's been awesome because we've been able to work together. We've been able to make decisions together. All of them haven't been correct, as you already know. We've made some great decisions. We've gotten lucky as a company, and as COVID came, we just exploded all over the world. We had already had plans on many different country expansion, and COVID kind of halted some of it. Australia being one of them, but what it really did throughout this decision process that you've been involved with, whether it's been a good decision or a bad decision, we've taken the route that we're going to communicate. We're going to work together. We're going to really listen and see what the field works with. I know just recently you probably got the new products that are launching in the September convention. So you're probably using those and trying them and probably having the same benefit that most people are.
Well, trust me, I had to take some of that before I went live. So Maybe that's why I'm feeling a bit more calmer right now.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that, because I don't really know of any other companies that are beta testing products for 4 or 6 months before, from the way it tastes, the way the texture is, to the label. All those things are determined by you guys in both those councils that we have, and so we really take pride in that. It's a huge risk. It's not always easy, but it's been definitely worth it. And so I wanted something that at the end of the day that we're teaching a business and not just a network marketing company where we're having average products with high compensation. We wanted something that was kind of great on all levels, and then teach people the business side. And I think we've got lucky with that.
Yeah, and just on that, I'm going to throw this question that I didn't prepare you for, but you brought this compensation plan into the company. Tell me why. Like, this is like, I've never seen a compensation plan like it. From a business point of view, it's amazing of the way that it's been put together. Why be so generous? Like, this is an amazing comp plan. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, the generosity standpoint, I think, and once you understand how comp plans work, and you really can kind of figure out the percentage of sales, people sometimes get caught up in what credit do I get, or these different things. The real question that real owners and leaders really ask when they figure out how the algorithms work is, what's the percentage of sales that a company is going to be paying out to the field each and every month? And you want that to be as high as possible. Abby, I was in a company for well over a decade, did extremely well, and the average percentage of sales was always below 20% of the total sales every single month. And most of the big companies, who some are even billion-dollar brands, that's where they've been. Even some of the companies that you have formerly known or been engaged with, they've never been over 25% of overall sales. So I think a little bit was, first off, we can just talk openly. Affiliate marketing forced a lot of people's hands to really pay the field what's fair. People think that, oh my gosh, we're generous, which I think that we are, but I just want to be fair. The customers, the work is done by the field. Corporate tries to put as much emphasis on operations and innovation as we possibly can. And so we have to understand where those customers and those products are being moved from, and the distribution channel in any business is obviously key. So we really wanted to probably think of it maybe of a different way, is how can we compensate a field finally what's fair. Now, as far as why I designed it the way I did, there's really only a couple reasons. The first reason I designed it to what I wanted to do was it's easy to understand. And I wanted people to know exactly what they're getting paid every single month. I didn't want any guessing. I didn't want anything to have to align. I didn't want the moon and stars to align on a certain month and things had to happen. I wanted families to be able to plan their lives and know what they're making and what they can do with that income, whether it's for subsistence or supplemental income. Hey, a couple dollars here to pay off and make life easier. Or some people like yourself who are and have become professional, where it's 6 figures or multiple 6 figures a year, that you guys are doing some amazing things probably in your community, other businesses that you own, but you need to be able to plan that out. That's part of the reason why I didn't like the network marketing industry, is because you don't really know how comp plans work. You can't plan your life, and no other business that I've owned or still own is that way. You know, down to the penny how everything works. So it had to be simple. So I wanted to keep it obviously simple. And then the behavior pattern. I wanted to be able to have people like yourself, who are great leaders, to be able to not be punished by working with great people. So you can just find as many leaders as you possibly can and have it be simply, it's a volume-based comp plan. It may not mean anything to someone who's looking at this for the very first time, but I do not want people to be punished and have to leave organizations too early, or have to go do things certain ways, or manipulate things certain ways in order to make a check. I want it to be simple, fair, and I want you, people who are talented and loyal, to be able to go have fun and not look over their back because the comp plan dictates a behavior that you really don't like.
Yeah, I love that. And you can definitely see that within the comp plan. That's amazing. So Jake,
Yes.
you've really set that foundation now in the US. You've seen some amazing momentum come out of the US. It's been crazy to watch over the last 12 months. And really this year, we've talked about international expansion, you know, where we're going. So give us some insight on right now where we're at with international. Now the focus is a little bit now on Australia with our first house about to be opening, which is exciting. So yeah, let us know what is about the cards for us here.
You know, I've talked to some of you about this before. Every so often, every once in a while, there's a feeling that you get when things are going to be pretty crazy, and things start aligning to where you're still working hard to accomplish your goals. You're still striving hard. You're getting up, doing what you should do every day, but things just start falling into place. We had that feeling in 2018, early 2018, when we launched this compensation plan. We had a plan to revamp all of our marketing, our packaging, the corporate side, all the employees that we had. We had that feeling when we met a couple of distributors early in 2018. It was like this overwhelming. It wasn't like an overly confident feeling. It was just like you couldn't put it down. Like it was like this new addiction that you had. It was a positive one that wasn't wrecking families. And I just had that gut feeling. Well, we experienced tremendous growth in 2018, 2019 in Key Sciences in the United States. And you've obviously known that, you know, even this year, by the first quarter of the year, we'd already doubled the company. And I had said at the beginning of the year at our council meetings, which you were involved with, that the company's going to quadruple. And I believe that, and it's almost already quadrupled. But I say this to not leave out the point. In late 2019, we had plans on huge international expansion. Now, no one knew what was going to happen with COVID. We already were kind of halfway down the road with a lot of registrations and legal things with, I don't want to say how many, but multiple facilities all over the world, because we're about to make major news at our convention that no one knows about. We've kind of held some things back, and we are really kind of strategically working on things. A big key thing which you've worked with him was when we bought Randy Bullock in, and Randy Bullock brought in Jim. And Jim Chasey and Randy Bullock, they had traditional business backgrounds. Jim Chasey was huge in Duracell battery, and so he was importing, exporting toxic material all over the world. That's different than health and wellness products. There's a lot more red tape in his industry than ours. So all of a sudden, these two get together, and through the connections, we start really kind of hearing of some good things that we could do, you know, in late 2020. And they started presenting some stuff to us about Australia, New Zealand, and Europe, and Malaysia, and a lot of other places. And at first, I'll tell you, they presented to me like, you guys are full of it. There's no way this is going to happen the way it's going to happen. And one thing led to another. And the hope that I had that we are going to be able to finally bring the same level playing field and opportunity to many parts of the world that were happening in the United States started to foster and grow. And then the conversation started happening more frequently in the office. And then that feeling started coming up like, oh my gosh, like we really have a shot if some things fall into place to have this happen. And so we went into the heavy registration process, which you already know in the Australian marketplace, thinking this is going to be a slugfest. The Australian government's kind of difficult to work with health and wellness products. This could be hard. We're going to have to slug this thing out. And so we went in, everything done, site inspections, manufacturing facilities, everything done, all the paperwork done so they could do requests that it was there. We had everything uploaded into the file. And all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, they come back and say, you guys don't have to change anything. Like you guys' products are crazy good. So then it just became, okay, full steam ahead. Let's inspect this facility. Let's make sure that what we're hearing that we can ship and fulfill in all of Australia in less than 2 days. Let's see how it's going to work. Let's see how the technology is going to work. So those computers contact our computers and talk. Let's figure out how the currency exchange is going to work. And that's truthfully what's taken us the longest time. What we deemed and thought that the Australian government was going to be the hardest part with our products was not the hardest thing. It was the fastest thing. It was less than a week. It's all the logistical things. And then as you guys know, with your country, with many lockdowns, it seems like you're on lockdown number 575. It's crazy in some parts of your world. people not working, that slowed the process down. So we officially got everything done. It's officially official. So I believe the next week or two, test shipments start leaving that warehouse in Australia to many of you guys as as leaders, so we can track them, make sure that shipping numbers and tracking numbers populate in in your emails. So we're there, and we're super excited because starting September 1, all orders, whether it's a reoccurring order or an order for the very first time, everything starts being fulfilled as of September the 1st, unless something happens crazy in your country, which we're super excited about. And so that was just the tip of the iceberg. Is now we have another facility in Amsterdam, the Dutch marketplace, that is now being loaded up with product. There's a couple of product changes we're going to have. They were more strict than Australia was. You already knew that we opened one up in Malaysia. And then we've got major news as a former CEO and president of a company that does over $7 million, formerly today just resigned from that company. And he's now going to be leading up all of our Asia Pacific expansion. And we'll be announcing that at convention as well, because we're now opening up another facility in Japan and many other parts. So there's huge opportunities going to be happening. And that same feeling that happened in 2000, I'm not going to say there's not going to be issues. There's going to be an issue. Like, I'm sure that people will get the wrong product, for a couple of people will, or someone's name's going to be spelled wrong. I don't know. But what I do know is with the group that we've been waiting for this day for a couple of years now. And I'm very confident on what's going to happen, especially with the products we're bringing you guys, the staple products, but some new ones. And I think some of you guys who are really hung with us and have been loyal through all the challenges and the difficulty are going to reap some huge benefits.
Wow. Okay, I've got chills now. It's making me excited. So that is amazing. We always talk about timing. So timing right now is of the essence. I think being in this kind of pre-launch phase, we'll never get this time again back. And that's what you said to me personally, is you'll never get this time again. And that's really, really important to know. So I suppose just on that, to end with, obviously we've got a convention in September. Is there any kind of thing you can kind of hint towards that's going to, in terms of a couple of verticals we've got coming? There's some very exciting things that are about to happen. Anything. I know that you have to be on the hush hush, so I don't expect you to spill the beans on TV.
Well, there's things I can definitely do. I mean, we're planning on obviously doing some really special things in the month of August to really ramp up and to be able to give people the opportunity to get started in queue for very minimal cost. And we're going to pull out all stops to really make this an amazing launch. We've got a lot of marketing and stuff that happens. In fact, I just today, oddly enough, this morning, was able to meet a localization company, is what they actually deem themselves as being. And they're a localization, meaning they take all of our documentation and videos and everything else, and they localize it to the Australian marketplace. And so there's just different slang terms and different terms that you pronounce words differently than us. That they're now on the final steps of that process for shopping cart experiences, and all those different things are going to be happening. So there's a lot of little final pieces that are going to be happening by the end of the year that I think are going to be really exciting. And you talked about timing. It's interesting because you have timing with a leader, right? Like it's not a secret. You personally, with the expertise that you have, you can tell you're going into a timing play, where you've seen it happen with a few leaders in the United States where they're peaking, as leader. I said this to you 2 or 3 months ago. You're about to go on the biggest run of your life. And the timing that you're able to create with a lot of people that are going to be joining you is going to be extremely special, because you're seeing it, and I've seen it in the United States, where there's been multiple people who have hit high-level positions in the company because they've attached themselves to a leader who's in a timing play of their life where they're kind of in the prime of their career. And that's kind of where you're entering. So there's that timing. Then you've got the timing of what's happening on the global cell, the logistical side, where we're opening up a country, right? That's going to be special because there's going to be a lot of pioneer type people who get in, build in August, and they kind of run through a couple of the ranks of the comp plan, which formerly would have taken people 3 or 4 months. They're going to do in a couple of weeks. I'm not shocked. I will not be shocked by the end of the year if there's a half dozen diamonds and there's 30 to 40 people from our positions of gold and higher easily, because of what's going to happen. The vertical side, though, what I'm really excited about, and I think some people have not tied the two together, But it's very widely known, and we've had issues, and I'll show you. Let's talk about our full spectrum hemp line. But what people have not realized is the biosync technology is not hemp. That's not hemp. The biosync technology is applied to our full spectrum hemp. The biosync technology is our technology, and we can apply it to any liquid to improve the absorption rate and things that happen to where you feel it faster, you use less, so it's more affordable, and it does things to different parts of your body that you just couldn't get without the technology. So what you're seeing now is two huge verticals in the terpene space, which no company's figured out yet. And then the collagen world. Well, it's not a secret. You're already seeing before and afters with many of the people who are on collagen in the United States. It's bonkers what's happening. I'm married, happily married, and I will tell you, I've been married for 14 years. And I don't know the thousands of dollars that my wife has spent on her skin and face and hair and everything else. And I took a step back. I actually, a true story. The same day I said, I don't know what you're doing with your skin, like even your hair, like you look great. And she's like, it's the collagen. 10 minutes later, a very close friend of mine who's a male, his name is Frank, you know him, came over to our home and he said the same things like, what are you doing, Sarah? Like your skin looks amazing. Like from a guy's perspective, you're like, what? Two guys noticing it, that's all we have to say. That's all we have to say, right? But those two verticals, they're really big. But the one thing I think you guys are also missing that I am so excited about is the meetings that Sarah Spencer has been having with the government and getting ready to add the final piece to the compensation plan as far as our financial freedom movement goes, where we're going to be able to finally legally be able to pay debt holders of who you owe money to, whether it's your rent, your mortgage, or a car payment on your behalf. And to be able to roll that program out, it's looking like it's going to happen before the end of the year. That final segment, it's such a huge sticky point of our culture in Q where we don't encourage people to go buy crazy stuff. We encourage them to hit these positions and tell us who you want us to pay money to. And it's such an amazing part and the whole program by itself. So there's some crazy things that are going to happen that some of you who are seeing this right now, some of you will be beta testing the very first FFM bonus plan within the next 60 days. Like to think that you're going to be the first ones filling out that form saying, hey, Jake and Mark, can you send money to my mortgage? Or can you send money for my car payment? Or whatever bills you have. I mean, I'm sure you guys have credit card bills in Australia. Everyone does. It's so crazy how quickly this cube's going to come together. It's just who's going to catch the vision and who's going to watch it.
Wow. Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that. So that's amazing. And
Yeah.
well, thank you so much, Jake. I just really appreciate your time. I know technology wasn't our friend, but we got there in the end.
Right.
But
That's
I
right.
appreciate it. It's so exciting to hear what's around the corner for us. The horizon is close now. So yeah, just wanted to say a big thank you. And we're excited. We're really, really excited.
Yeah. In closing, you guys have been great. I think sometimes we've forgotten all the trials that the United States had gone through in 2018 to really have what we have now. It's like our parents, like they talk about how hard it was when they're growing up. And now you're seeing some of those US leaders talk about you have it so easy, right? Well, that's kind of where Australia is. Like we know that there's going to be some challenges still, but very minimal to where you guys as pioneers have dealt with. And I am so grateful for all those people who are watching this, including yourself, who have been loyal and have helped us through all the challenges, because without you guys and that true partnership, this very special time would not be happening. And it's not about an owner. That's what's wrong in the industry. Owners receive way too much credit for what happens. It's a true filled corporate dynamic, and we've figured that out, and you guys are awesome.
Thanks, Jake. That's amazing. Appreciate your time so much. I'm going to stop the recording now, but thank you so much.
Thanks.